went shopping online again, and I bought a few things, and this is one of them. I don't know if you can guess what it is. Perhaps you can, perhaps you can't. I'm gonna give you a hint. This is the lid, and it comes off, and there is something in this tube. I mean, nothing alive or anything like that. It's a tool. It's a tool that a certain type of professionals use. So, can you guess what it is? Are you ready? Let's take it off. It is a makeup brush, and it's so cute. That's why I bought it. I didn't actually need it. I just saw this and I had to have it. As you can see, it is actually a paw. I suppose it's a cat paw or of a small dog, but I think it's a cat paw. And it's super soft and super cute. I love these beans. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Super cute and super soft. I didn't want to use this one for makeup because it's so cute, and I just didn't want to spoil it with makeup and washing and maintenance. But I decided that it's going to be very good to use it for ASMR. Look at the teeny tiny beads. Beads. So cute. Okay. And since I introduced my item number 1 to you today, I wanted to talk about something related to this. I wanted to tell you more about my cat. I don't know how much you know about me, but I am a big animal lover, and I especially love dogs and cats. And now, currently, I have a dog, and I'm gonna introduce you to it when the time comes. But I used to have a cat for 11 years, and she was actually one of my first pets that I actually took care of. You know, one of the first pets that I've had was a cat. And I mean, my family and I, we usually took care of strays all the time. We fed them, and you know, they just gathered around my house. But this cat, let me just give you the background story first. So, when I was growing up, I used to live in a house with my mom, grandma, and grandpa. So my grandma and grandpa kind of had a rule, since they come from rural areas. There was a rule in their family animals were supposed to live in the house with people. So yeah, they did like to, feed the cats and dogs and the strays in front of our house, but they just, they didn't want to have any animals in the house. So when I was 11 years old, I remember correctly, yeah, when I was 11 years old, my aunts, they called my mom and they told her that they just rescued a beautiful Siamese cat from the shelter, and they already had their own cat, and the two of them didn't really get along, and they, my aunt didn't know what to do, and she asked my mom whether she was willing to take her, and my mom said, yeah, sure, we don't have any pets, so I think it would not be a problem. My mom and I, we just drove there. I remember that moment when we entered my aunt's apartment, and I asked, like, where's the cat? And she said she's in the kitchen, but she's a bit scared, and maybe she ran away, maybe she hid somewhere, look for her. And then I remember this sight, there was I stepped into the kitchen, I was looking around, I saw no cat, and then I looked up, and there she was. She was like high above, watching me, and it was so beautiful. She was standing there like a statue, but I was like, wow, like this is the most beautiful cat I've ever seen. And she, I don't know if I mentioned this, I forgot, she was Siamese, which means, I don't know if you know anything about cat breeds, but Siamese cats are usually those cats with mesmerizing blue eyes, like those beautiful, beautiful blue eyes, and usually their fur can vary from like maybe deep brown to like chocolate brown, like milk chocolate, to something like whitish, like butter color, something like that. So yeah, and she also had a black tail, which was very interesting. And I think at that point, at that moment, she was, I believe, 3 months old, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think she was 3 months old. And she was so beautiful. And long story short, we took her, and my grandpa didn't know that we were bringing the cat home. It was kind of like a surprise for my grandpa, and my grandpa is kind of like this tough guy, he never says no animals in the house. And he saw her and he was like, what is that? And of course, a few days later, I came back home from school one day, and my grandpa didn't hear me. I just went into his room to say hi, and he didn't hear me. And there he was. He was with my cat watching TV, and at that time he was watching some sort of TV series. I don't really remember what it was. And he was petting the cat. He's like, pet, 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 pet. really felt honored. Like, I think it was 2 years after that when she, of course, grew up and she became a mom for the first time. And my grandpa made sort of like a shelter for her. He filled it with blankets, and he made it soft and nice and warm and everything. But my cat didn't think that was a very good place for her and for her kittens, because there was one day when all of us were in the living room, and from my living room there was a staircase leading upstairs to my room, and all of us were busy. We were having lunch, we were talking, nobody was paying attention to her. She managed to sneak all of her babies into my room, and of course I didn't notice either. And I was like, that evening I brushed my teeth, washed my face, all that stuff, and I went to bed. And I just closed my eyes and I hear something high pitched, like pew, pew, pew. I was like, what is that? And I can hear that it's coming from somewhere in my room. It's very close to me. And I noticed that my cat wasn't sleeping in my bed. She was sleeping somewhere in the room. I could hear her breathe. And I was like, something's going on, something's fishy here. And I got up, I looked around, and I followed that noise, and I saw that in the corner of the room we had this TV shelf, and that was pretty tall, and it was in the corner of the room. And there at the bottom of that shelf, there she was with all of her jelly beans. She was so cute. And yeah, I felt really honored that she found my room to be the safest place for her babies. So I really love that cat. She lived actually a pretty good life. She lived for a long time. It was like 11 years. For a cat is a pretty long life. She ate all the best food. She was able to go in and out of the house whenever she wanted, and she had many cat friends, and she was cared for, she was loved, she was cuddled. I rescued many cats and dogs after that, but of course I'm always gonna remember her because she was my first and only, well, let's say full-time cat. So all of the others were there just until their adoption. The same goes for dogs. So yeah. And for my dog, I currently have a dog, and I found him like 3 years ago. But I think I'm gonna leave that story for another time. I really want to connect with you guys, and I want to tell you more about myself. If the animal sleeps in your bed and shares your living space, it's just different. The only thing that was problematic with the cat being in the house was that she used to shed a lot, and I did a lot of vacuuming back then, so yeah, hair everywhere. But that's about it. That's the only problem I've actually had with having the cat inside. I didn't know much about dogs at that time. It's just, I was like, my next pet